And welcome to the afternoon experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you until around 5 o'clock this afternoon. Um, as usual, come on in. We're gonna do the show like we normally do. No reason not to. It's a normal day. I am a little tired. I worked a little harder today, but you know, it is what it is. I'm here. So come on in. Robert Willis. Robert Willis in the house. Robert Willis. He says, as normally, he throws up the deuces. If you're new to the show, welcome. And the way that we start the show is people just say hi to me and I say hi to them back. We kind of greet each other like a community. Except for I want to know what community, what area of town, or what city, state you're checking me out from. So just come on in, say hello. Say hello. Say, I see it's like people in here, but you're not saying hello. I don't ask for much. I don't ask for much. I don't ask for no money. I don't ask for respect. I earn that. I don't do any of that. I just ask, say hello. Come in, say hello. Everything else, like voluntary. So come on in. Say hello. Anthony, don't know if I can believe my eyes. You can't. Your eyes lie to you. Everybody else, you can believe your eyes. Robert Willis from Anderson Township. All right, Robert. We got Myosha checking in from Avondale. All right, Avondale in the house. Good afternoon, Myosha. We got Broken Wing. Hello. Hello, Broken Wing. Shannon C says, hey, from College Hill. All right, College Hill. Good afternoon, Shannon. Erica. Erica in the house. Good afternoon from Reading. Good afternoon, Erica. Got Keisha. Keisha in the house from North College Hill. Are y'all organizing the watch party out there? Good afternoon, Keisha. Good afternoon. Anthony says, good afternoon from the West Side. All right. Good afternoon, Anthony. He is one of my haters, like a friendly hater. I have friendly haters, and then I have aggressive haters. He's one of the friendly haters. I don't mind any of the haters, but friendly haters is always welcome. Did I say Dwayne? Good afternoon, Dwayne. Mount Airy checking in. Sir, I'm assuming you're a sir. Look, I make some assumptions on this show. If you got like a manly name, I assume you're a man. If you're not a man, say, I'm not a man, and then I'll correct it. But Dwayne, and I can't really see the picture. It's really tiny on my screen, but it kind of looked like a man. So if you say identify as a woman, look, I'll be respectful. I will say Dwayne identifies as a woman. Dwayne, I don't think identifies as a woman. I'm just letting people know. Because even saying, thank you, sir, like I go out, I'm going to get back to my hellos. I go out, I'm out and about, maybe shopping, maybe hanging, kicking it, doing whatever I'm doing. And I am a sir, ma'am kind of guy. I say, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, sir. No, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, you're welcome, sir. Oh, you're welcome, ma'am. People say, I go, cashier says, welcome to whatever. Name your not organization. Name your restaurant, name your department store, name your whatever. You're welcome, sir. I say, thank you, ma'am, or thank you, sir. And sometimes people get mad at me. I'm like, you sure look and sound like a sir. Don't be mad at me, because I didn't know. So that's why I said all of that. I ran into that the other day. I was out at the store, and this person was clearly looked like a dude. No person in their right mind would have not thought this was a dude. Like full beard, like bushy beard. Big dude, big, even rotund dude. I walk in, he like, Thank you for shopping. Oh, what store? I don't want to say the store. Thank you for shopping so and so. I say, thank you, sir. Now, okay, I thought it was a gay dude. I thought that's a big giant gay dude. Who am I to judge? I still gonna respect you. Just because you a big, fat, gay dude with a beard don't mean you don't deserve respect. So I say, thank you, sir. Going on about my business. And the net get to work in. I'm a woman. My bad. Don't be mad at me. I said, well, thank you. You mad at me because you look like a dude. Shave your beard. At least shave the beard. Big bushy beard gives off the air of I'm a dude and I identify as a dude. How was I supposed to know? I'm considering not doing the sir and ma'am thing. Just because I don't want to be offensive. That's the only reason. Anyway, back to my hellos. Tria in the house. Tria says, hey, King. Good afternoon, Tria. Checking in from Columbia Township. All right. Scott, Mr. Scott Bain in the house. Says, hey there. Cumming, Georgia. All right. Hello. You know, that one dude be getting in trouble with that sign. He has a sign. It's one of the I'm gonna call him First Amendment auditors. He stands out. He has a gigantic sign, and the sign says, what does it say? I love coming. And then in small print, V, I think it's Georgia. Coming V Georgia. And then people are always offended. Like, that's offensive. My children can see that. He's like, it's a court case. It's a court case. Of course, the case of Coming v. Georgia. Well, can't you make the v. Georgia larger so that people know? Of course, he's going for a little shock value. But either way, good afternoon, Scott. Janice says, hello from Springfield Township. Good afternoon, Janice. Myosha says, bruh, you've known me for like 2 decades and still be effing up my name. I say your name perfectly. Perfectly. Myosha. See, look at it. Look at it. M-Y. What does that spell? My. O. What does that spell? Well, O. S-H-A. What does that spell? Sha. It's not my O'Shea. I know that for a fact. It's my Osha. How am I messing it up? That's the name. We got Brent in the house. Good afternoon, Brent. He's checking in from Dallas, Texas. Good afternoon, sir. Andrea. Good afternoon from Gulf Manor. All right, Gulf Manor in the house. Good afternoon, Andrea. Broken Wing said, I'm a bird. Dwayne says, yes, I'm a man, brother. I don't know why I thought of it when I said you, but I was pretty sure you were a man. Come on over for dinner, and I was thinking about that, and what was actually said, when I really think about it, was, why don't you come over here? Hold on, I don't remember the exact wording now. And I thought of, but it was something along the lines of, you come over here, come over to my house for dinner, and I'll show you what murder is. That was what it was. It wasn't come over for dinner and I'll murder you. It was come over for dinner and I'll show you what murder is. Either way, that's not a good invitation. So one or two things is going to happen. Maybe 3. I'm going to go over there, eat, hopefully a lovely dinner, and then you're going to murder me. That's not acceptable. Or I'm going to go over there, eat a lovely dinner, and then you're going to murder someone else just so I can see how it's done. I don't want to see that either. So, but I thought about that. Like, That was actually what was said. I'll show you what murder is. Good afternoon, Terry. Got Phyllis in the house. Good afternoon, Phyllis. Good afternoon, Phyllis. So was the voice more Louise Jefferson or Florida Evans? It was more trying to think. I can't. It was sassy. It's like Lincoln's mug. It was sassy. It was, a dude. Think what's his name? Let's say, I don't want to say his name because I don't want to offend nobody. But it was very much, this is a man, but using his feminine energy in his voice and everything. So I just thought it was a gay dude. Thank you for shopping at. Thank you, sir. It was nice. It was just a nice dude with a effeminate voice. Let's see. We got Reese Mooney in the house. Good afternoon, Reese. Sabrina in the house. She says, good afternoon, everyone. You're late. Not really late. You're not really late. But good afternoon, Brini, as well. Let's see. We got Phyllis Mitchell. You got people saying, hello. Myosha wants to know why I got to stress the O. Well, it's the oddball. It's the oddball in the name. And it sound more like a Chinese or Korean name. Something like that. Chinese, Korean. And in my mind, your parents named you a Chinese name. In my mind, you hit those vowels hard. It's my OSHA. Just the way I see it. Brenda in the house. Brenda, hi. She says from Fairfield. Karen in the house. Karen, good afternoon. Let's see. Karen says West End. West End. Got Darren in the house. Darren Edwards. Good afternoon, Darren. Good afternoon. Let's see. Jack says, hey, everyone. Good afternoon, Jack. SOT says, what up? What's up, SOT? Still not sure if that's a man or a woman, so I just say, what's up? Because that could be anybody or anything. Got Tessie in the house. Good afternoon. And Kenneth, great day, powerful people. West Side, Kenneth. Good afternoon, Kenneth. All right. Got a few things I want to discuss today. Want to get into it just a little bit. I would love it if you guys would participate in the show. You can give me a call, 513. Hold on, let me take this down so that if you decide to give me a call, I will be able to. Hold on, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't want to adjust anything here. Wait a minute, go here. I don't necessarily want to quit it. Well, we'll quit it just for the sake of that. All right. Got a few stories. You can give me a call, 513-717-5464. 513-717-5464. I'm thinking about hiring a staff. To help me with the show. All of this other stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on. That's why my eyes are always here or here or here or here and not always here. Because I'm doing a lot of things by myself. So I'm thinking about hiring a staff. I've reached out to Dave Stinger, and he's going to get back to me and let me know. I got a couple more people that I'm reaching out to as well. We'll see what happens. SOT says, I'm formerly known as Tony Revels. Oh, okay. Well, good afternoon, sir. Also, we got Brian Taylor. in the building. Disappointed that LIV would do business with the country that kills black people and curtails reproductive freedom. LIV? I don't know what that means. I feel like I should. What is LIV? I want to be disappointed too. Brian Taylor says golf. I don't know what that means either. Oh, the rival to the, okay, I don't watch golf. I don't watch golf. Until my version of golf kick off, I don't keep up with golf. But okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm disappointed too. Let me see. Regina says good afternoon. Crystal, good afternoon, Regina. Crystal says good afternoon. Good afternoon, Crystal. And Yo Underwood also says good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Yo Underwood, who I also believe is a man. All right, let's talk for a minute. The city of Cincinnati, they've unveiled their plan. Let me see if I can pull this up. Plan. The Cincinnati's plan to reduce crime. Oh, come on. No, not the old plan. They don't have the new plan up here. There's not really much of a plan. They held a press conference. So since I can't find the story, I got to kind of go from memory. They held a press conference, and here's the bottom line. Some police are going to get some overtime. That's really the bottom line. Law enforcement, they're going to get overtime. They are scheduling, like immediately, almost all the police officers are going on overtime. They're going to station, like there's going to be a SWAT presence, I think, like down near the banks. And they say they're going to have a much more visible police presence around the city, especially on the weekends. But they're going to have a much more visible police presence. And then the other portion of the plan, as I heard it, is if you see something, say something. And not only that, if you hear of something, say something. That's a hell of a plan. I wish I would have thought of that. Look, I don't want to be negative. I'm not sure that that's the best plan, though. And I guess I understand it. Like, we need a SWAT presence down by the banks so that people who go to the banks, which we know the people that they perceive that go to the banks, so that they feel safe when they go downtown. Because that's really, they don't really seem to care about the gun violence as long as the gun violence is not affecting the people that they don't want it to affect. This is all my perception. I could be wrong. But I feel like, based on what I heard about this plan, I wasn't at the press conference, so I only saw the clips that I saw on the news. But it sure sounded to me like, look, we want people who come down to the banks to feel safe. And we want to put people out there so that it kind of looks safe to other people. But we don't really know what to do. And we ain't really tried all that hard. Oh, no, the traffic blitz. Yeah, that's right. They're going to do some more of that traffic blitz stuff. You know, where they give you tickets but police are still able to drive whatever speed they want and endanger the community. But you might get a ticket. I feel like I'm just being negative. Maybe I should just be happy. Be happy that they're talking about it. Be happy that they're trying anything. The people who go to the banks deserve to feel safe. I mean, they got money. They got money. And they did get rid of what they perceived to be the unwelcome presence down there, mahoganies. And the crowd that restaurant was drawing to the banks. So they did get rid of that. So those people who go down there, they deserve to be and feel safe. They still doing the open container thing down there, right? They got that section of the banks. It's you can walk around drinking alcohol and all of that kind of stuff. Just open from like bar to bar. Can't bring in outside alcohol, but you can still walk around drinking it. Those are the type of people that deserve to feel safe. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. They said there's gonna be an actual SWAT presence down by the banks. Did I hear that wrong? Anybody? Somebody tell me whether or not I heard that wrong. There's gonna be an actual SWAT presence down by the banks. Did I hear that wrong? I'm kind of hoping that I heard that wrong. But I watched the report on the news and that was what they said. And so, again, I wasn't at the press conference. Y'all know me. I like to make sure that I let people know that I'm going off secondhand information. And information, though, that we're supposed to be able to trust. And I thought I heard on the news that there's going to be a SWAT presence down at the banks. All that saying where they will be at the heaviest only makes the crime move to another area. You're just chasing crime at that point. Jack says, basically the SWAT presence is because of the shooting at the Ferris wheel last year. Okay. Tria says, hey, they said the Sweeney murder was a drug deal gone wrong. Uh-oh. I hate to hear that. So, I don't know, good plan, not a good plan. SWAT presence at the banks, police overtime, the streets, not necessarily the neighborhoods. And this was weird when I heard it. I didn't necessarily understand it. But if I understood it correctly, the streets where shootings have happened, there'll be a heavy police presence, but not necessarily like the whole neighborhood. And again, if I heard that wrong, somebody tell me, nah, Emanuel, you heard that wrong. They said not the street, not the neighborhood, but the street where gun violence has happened. They'll have an increased police presence. I'm not a police officer. I'm not a law enforcement official. I'm not city manager or police chief, the safety director. We don't have one of those anymore. But I'm not any of those people. So maybe this is an amazing plan. And it'll work. And we'll have to see what happens. They tell me, if I'm to believe what I saw on the news, if I understood it right, this is going into effect right away, this weekend. This weekend, we'll see some of that. So let's look at it. And see. Let's just keep an open mind. maybe it won't be any shootings this weekend because the police are on overtime. And of course, that SWAT team at the bank and on those streets where shootings have occurred, there's a lot of police. And that might be the answer. And of course, the other component, if you see something, say something. If you hear something, say something. She said, look, if you hear of someone with a gun, you don't even have to see it. You just hear it and you believe that for some reason that person shouldn't be able to have a gun. Call us and we'll take it from there. That sounds a little dangerous to me. For those of you who don't know, I have a little bit of an issue calling the police on people who haven't done or who aren't actively doing anything wrong. Because, at least in my mind, there's a high probability that sending a man or a woman with a gun into a situation or to interact with someone increases the probability of that person being shot. And that might not make a lot of sense to some people. But if you got a situation where there are no guns, there's a low probability that anyone will be shot in that situation. And you put somebody with a gun in that situation, the chances of somebody getting shot kind of goes up. That's just me using, Emanuel logic. And to be honest, it hasn't been my experience. That the police just take it from there. I told y'all the other day about my experience. I've told people for many years of my experience over at the place where my house got broken into. And I did call the police. And they did nothing. Still waiting on that investigator, by the way. That was what they said. Oh, we'll send an investigator out. The investigator never showed up. Call like y'all say y'all was sending an investigator out. Oh, we'll get one out. Never showed up. Eventually, you stop doing follow-up calls and you just like, ain't no investigator gonna show up. You replace the window with some glass block and, you move on. So it's not been my experience that, hey, we just, you tell us and then we take it from there. Jack says that happened to Lady C in Norwood. Got her a 72-hour psych hold. Yeah, I'm not big on just calling the police. Just not. Hold on, I just saw somebody. Pamela checking in from North Avondale. All right, North Avondale in the house. Brent says, according to WCPO, Councilman Scotty Johnson held back tears while he pleaded with the people to help. His heart is in the right place. Maybe I can have him on the show. I think I'm going to call him, extend an invitation to Scotty to come on the show. I think his heart is in the right place. Citizens, what are you going to do? This is not a situation where police by themselves can do this. We can't legislate our way out of this. I agree with him. This is not, again, his heart is in the right place. But look, if you, I'm going to say it again. This is kind of reiterating what I said the other day. If you want to have those conversations, though, go to the people that need to hear those conversations. The overwhelming majority of us have no information. None. None. So you saying it to me and to probably 98% of Cincinnati, we don't know. But the police do investigations. They have ideas about things. They know more information than we do. They give us less information. I understand why sometimes. You can't let everybody know everything. But go talk to the people and to their families and to their circle about stepping up and doing something. Go cry. Maybe if you cry to them. When Peanut get arrested, go talk to Peanut mama. Find Peanut daddy. Talk to him. Talk to Peanut friends. Gather them all together. Get yourself a podium, a lectern, something. Get up there, cry, and tell them we need y'all to help us fix this problem. The police can't do it ourselves. It's a good message. I believe it's true, and I believe his heart is in the right place. I believe, though, he's sending that message largely to a group of people that can't help, from the extent of, I don't know nobody with an illegal gun. I don't know nobody who's going to be running around spraying up the neighborhood. If I did, you wouldn't have to cry to get me to do it, to tell. I would tell. But I do. I wholeheartedly believe his heart is in the right place. Wholeheartedly. On a separate note, can you go cry at the police union as well and talk to them about speeding? Like, slow down. Drive 55 to stay alive. Don't be driving like a bat out of hell through our neighborhoods when you ain't on no emergency call. Don't violate people's rights. Don't take them little boys' money if you're not going to put it in evidence. You don't have a right to take kids' money, even if they're committing violent or criminal acts, and just stick it in your pocket. Hey, be fair when you doing this traffic blitz. Don't just pull people over because you think they got a gun in the car. Do it fairly. If they speeding, pull them over. Cry. Like, talk to them the same way you talking to us. Because look, just because police ain't shooting people up like they used to, don't mean they're all angels out there. They still talk to people disrespectfully. I know that firsthand. And they encourage each other to do it sometimes. I know that firsthand. I saw it. If you look back through my page, you might find a video or two on it where you can see law enforcement just being totally rude and disrespectful and, heck, even racist. But they were black officers. Can they be racist? I don't know. So go cry to them and tell them, be fair. Be fair. Don't violate people's rights. Don't treat people unfairly. Don't say the white man can do it, but the black man can't, when it's legal for both to do. Go cry to them. See, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. It's easy for people to talk big stuff, big, bold stuff to black people. Everybody else. But I got off point for a moment. Ira says, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. Wrong. Wrong. No. I don't believe in that. If I get on here and start calling my callers bad names and then be like, well, but if it don't apply, just let it fly. If you not the B word, then he wasn't talking about you. Wrong. Wrong. Go to the audience that the message is made for. Go to the audience that the message is tailor-made for. It's like me going out to Milford, getting a group of young Caucasian kids together, and then talking about the dangers of black on black crime. They looking at each other like, hey, none of us black. We don't do that. Go to the audience that the message is made for, because it's sending another message that the community is okay with this stuff. And the community is not okay with it. I got a call coming in. Hold on, let me. Caller.
Emanuel?
Key.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Okay, I got a surprise for you. Hold on, listen.
Bubbles? Key?
You hear? Could you hear it?
I think did I hear you playing the Monster Mash?
Yeah. I was trying to come up with some theme music for your background.
I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay.
Oh, okay. I was trying to help you out. 'Cause I know you said you needed some help around there, so I was trying to give you some theme music.
That's it?
No, that ain't all. I was calling to say, hey, how you doing? But I was like, well, let me call and give him some theme music.
I appreciate.
I had the same background for a few days. I was like, well, guess he going with that theme, so let me go ahead.
So,
And
because the show is the afternoon experiment.
Yeah, I know. And then you hear the song.
And but
he's talking about he working in the lab.
That's
late one night.
I love you, Key, but that's horrible. That is terrible. That's terrible.
Man, what's new with you?
Oh, not much. I'm just, trying to look at all of this stuff and, try to digest it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you gonna be on tomorrow?
I think so. So.
Okay.
I'm saying I think so. The little baby asked me about going to the zoo. And so if I can swing it, I might be at the zoo.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I think I'll be on. I think even if we go to the zoo, we'll go earlier in the day, and I'll probably be home and tired by 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, if you're hanging out with little baby, we'll forgive you.
Well, we'll see.
You sound like you really ain't trying to be there. Yeah, I know.
I'm not. But
it's for your grandbaby.
You can't beat that. Hanging out with the little baby.
Well, yeah, I was just calling to support and say hey, and just checking in on you. Hey, everybody in the chat, and then just give you a laugh. But I see you ain't think the Monster Mash was funny.
That was terrible. That was terrible.
Probably because you couldn't hear it that good. I'm like, I was trying to get it, and I'm like, this sounds super low. I hope he can hear this. Well, okay.
All right, Key. Hey, I appreciate your call and your support.
Okay, I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. All right, that was Key. Let's see. Pamela says, I just saw a story on Channel 19 News that the Sweeney death was not road rage, but drug related. One of the ladies in the car had lied to police. How about getting on TV crying, telling people to stop buying drugs? Cry and tell rich white people to stop buying drugs and tell that community that they can help if they know or see a rich white person buying drugs. Say something. That sounds like a good idea to me. That sounds like a good idea to me. If you know a rich white person and you hear that they're buying drugs or you see them buying drugs, report it to the police. It's going to take the whole community to stop it. The police can't stop this stuff by themselves. How about that? You think we'll see that? Do you think we'll see that? It's a pretty big problem, y'all. It really is. Needs to be addressed. Do you think we'll see that? I do believe his heart is in the right place. I really do. Oh no. Let me go to the phone. Caller?
Emanuel, how are you?
I'm fantastic. This is Iris.
Of course it is. When you called my name, I didn't hear your response. I just heard you say something like wrong to my message when I said if it doesn't apply, let it fly. So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I think what we're missing is we are in a time that the society has dictated that we will be in. But we as a people, and I'm talking to black people, I'm talking to the black people, because that's what I am, a black person, and that we have taken our eyes off of our children, off of our community, and off of ourselves. And we have regulated the responsibility of the growth and development of our lives to other people. I hear it every day, Emanuel. I hear people say to me every day, Iris, what is City Hall going to do about our children? And I've never had that thought growing up in life. That never was my community's response. So when
Iris,
I hear an elected,
let me ask you a question.
You can ask several. I got several answers for you.
All right. Do you believe that the overwhelming majority of our community or of our children are bad and uncaring about what happens?
That's not what I said.
I didn't ask you. I didn't ask if that was what you said. I'm asking if this is what you believe.
You're asking me that question?
Yeah.
If you would have allowed me to finish, dear brother, I would have got to that particular point. No, I don't believe that.
All right.
That's why I fight like hell to keep systems off of our back, because there's only a small percentage of people who commit crime. However, what we are seeing in this unprecedented time, that the youth violence has gone way up, right?
Yes.
And what we also are seeing, and I think you may have missed some of the message, is that parents are now saying to court systems, we don't want our kids, they're too bad. Parents are also saying that they know their children have guns and it's okay. So we're living in a time that if I were an elected official, the podium and the biggest place where I can get a message out to as many people as possible, and not just a group of people, but to all people, because all people are committing crimes. Crime is crime, right?
Crime is crime.
So nobody said he was talking. Nobody said he was talking to you and your nephews or your cousins. He was talking to the people who potentially have the opportunity of doing something, saying something, asking for something, right? So it wasn't so much for you, but somebody else who may have watched the press conference to get all of the information, not just some of it, but there was a lot that was given out this morning. And yes, I do believe that some of us do know what's happening, and that we don't have the spaces to begin to talk about how do we fix what is going awry in our community. No, I don't believe all of us are criminal and all of us are bad and all of us are doing wrong. That has never been my work. That has never been my stance about black people. Next question, sir.
Okay, my next question. Let me accept everything you said for the sake of argument as 100% factual and reasonable. All right.
Yes,
Is
sir.
Do you believe that white people coming into the community buying drugs, do you believe that's a problem?
Emanuel, if you go back in history, I used to live in the community of Madisonville. Lived on Rose Street. I watched white people come down from Indian Hill a lot and buy drugs. And I was one of those ones that called the police on white people. So I know that they do.
Okay.
We know that they do. They always have.
Do
Hell,
you
they're the ones to bring it into our communities.
do you believe that we'll hear a cry from the police, from City Hall, or from anybody else saying to white people, look, y'all know what's going on. If you see something, say something. The police can't fix this on our own. As a community, y'all got to fix this. It's y'all problem just as well as it's anybody else's problem. Do you believe you'll hear that from the powers that be in the city?
What I didn't hear today was the powers of the people who were at the press conference say this is a black problem. I didn't hear them say that.
I didn't
I
say
heard
that.
them speaking to all people. No,
I didn't say
hold
that.
on.
I
Yeah,
didn't
brother,
say
let me answer. Give me. I didn't interrupt you. You said we were having a conversation. Well, I'm responding. I'm giving you an answer.
Okay, go
And
ahead.
I'm giving you the context of my answer, if you will allow that, right? So what I
If you
did
say
not hear today. May I?
I said go ahead if you
What I
say
did
so.
not hear to, what I did not hear today was any one of those individuals say that this is a black problem. I heard them talking to the citizens of Cincinnati. Now, because it is an issue that plagues all communities, probably you won't hear them say black people get up and do this or white people get up and do that. So no, I don't think that you'll ever hear a specific call like that. I don't. And it wouldn't be appropriate to do so.
Hold on. No, maybe you misunderstood what I said, or maybe I said it wrong. Because I don't ever recall saying white people. I recall saying the community. I didn't say the white community. And if I did, I didn't mean to say that. But I think you might have inferred that based on what I said.
I thought you said a specific community. Do you think that we'll ever hear council member call out to a specific community? I heard them talking to everybody today.
Right. And do you think they'll ever stand up there and talk to everybody about this epidemic of wealthy Caucasian people coming in to the community buying drugs to the whole community? Do you think that'll ever be addressed? Saying to the community, y'all know who these people are. We can't do it alone. Y'all see the problem. If you see something, say something. If you hear something, say something. Do you think that will happen?
For the sake of not being repetitive and not arguing, and for the sake of saving my soul from unnecessary talk, probably not. Not unless that is what facts point out. Probably not.
Okay.
No, sir. And do I ever expect to hear them say specifically, black people in your community, you're doing this or lack thereof? No, I don't. I don't expect that, and it would be inappropriate for them to do that as an elected official.
But see, that's just it. I think I heard that the other day on the Lincoln Ware show.
Explain yourself.
I think I heard an elected city council member say, black community, we got a problem and we got to fix this problem.
So you're saying that because the elected official called on Black Talk Radio, he said, community, we have a problem, we got to fix this problem.
No.
Did he say black? And I don't want to debate that because
That's what I'm saying. I think I heard the term black community. That's one. I think I heard the term multiple times. See, that's one of the problems in the black community.
I didn't hear that conversation, dear brother. So I can't speak to that.
Okay.
What I would suggest to you, though, if that is an issue for you, that you address that council person, but I will tell you this, dear brother. We got issues in our community, in the Black community. And I wish that we can have Black conversations, not over the internet, but behind closed doors so we could address them appropriately. That's how I grew up. That is how we were able to sustain our wealth and our health, because we had conversations. It doesn't work on the internet where everyone can hear us and we want to debate whether we're wrong or right. We see the inequities. We see the disparities. We see the needs. You talk about them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about the Black community as well.
Yeah.
You talk about little, you just said it, call somebody's child a name or whoever name that you wanted to say, and you were trying to make a point, and you were trying to be specific. And I don't have a problem with that. But what I have a problem with is that we won't begin to figure out what we have to do outside of them. This is on us. This is on us.
What's on
so
us?
Whatever is happening whatever wrong is happening in our community, whatever we see that's plaguing us, whatever we see that our seniors, our children, you, me are going through, whether it's education, health, housing, we have to deal with that on some level. But again, dear brother, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can I explain why? See, this is why I have a problem with it presented in that forum. And it might be a little bit of what you're saying. But look, if you stand there, whatever, and you say, you might not use the word, the black people, but you say, look, y'all know what's going on. If you see something, then you say something. What you're saying to the greater community is that this community sees it and this community accepts it. And so you send that message out that, because we know it's very difficult. I try to go out of my way to make sure that I'm not stereotyping when I talk about stuff. But we know that greater community loves to take the worst of our community and then apply it to all of us. And so when you give them that ammunition, that bothers me, because that's saying to the greater community, man, they all know that it's happening. They like drugs and guns in their community. They won't do nothing about it. Even their own council members calling out, begging them, crying and begging them to make it stop. But they see it. They don't care. I got a problem with that.
Well, let me offer a suggestion to you, dear brother.
All right.
And I hear your problem. I hear your problem. If that is your problem, and you're correct. So the majority community, the non-Black community, let me put it like that, the non-Black community has always used that against us. That is oppression. And we have internalized that so much so that we can't see the difference of when do we need to step in and how we need to step in and why we need to step in. It is no different, dear brother, when people say to me, Iris, why are you fighting for Black people when it comes to police brutality? Why don't you fight for all people? You see? And so when I have to answer that question, not that Black people want to be on the top of the bucket of being shot to death and traumatized and beat to death and handcuffed and treated like animals by the people that they pay to protect and serve them. But somebody's got to hold the people that we pay to protect and serve us accountable for those people. But I understand what you're saying, but it's been like that forever. That ain't new. They've always used that. And now we accompany them. We hold that up every day, dear brother. We hold that up every day when we have these conversations, when we're splitting hairs. When we're not talking about how we're going to strategize in order to save our children. What is it that we are going to do? And we can banter back and forth about that particular thing. And I would suggest to you that you call that, dear brother, you give him some developmental skills on how he's speaking and who he's speaking to and how he's presenting that message. You should be able to do that to your brother. But
I said earlier in the show, I'm going to invite him on the show.
Let me finish this sentence,
so
and I'll be quiet and I'll even hang up. But I believe internalized oppression only allows us to do what we're doing right now. to stop it there. Instead of saying, I'm going to reach out to him and point that out, because that is bothersome for me. And it only gives them ammunition.
You didn't hear me say,
However,
I'm going to invite him on the show to discuss that.
I heard you say that, but I didn't hear you say, you're going to invite him on the show and you're going to address him in front of everybody on the internet where everybody can hear you. Black, white, Asian.
I think it's important
Chinese.
to do that, yes.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
So I was taught that we do things in a different way.
Oh, well.
And if you notice, I tried to do that. And if you notice, dear brother, this sister here has been beaten to death by folk who look like her. More often, people who call themselves black men. But that's okay, because I understand when you are internally oppressed.
I don't think it's okay.
No longer are the shackles on your feet, but they are on your brain. That we will go after the people who are not oppressing you. That is the truth.
See,
we take it out on the people closest to us.
We fundamentally disagree with that. See, I don't believe that it's okay for people to attack you, but I believe that
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying it's okay, so I got to keep moving, because again, dear brother, that has been something that has been happening since time.
I'm not
right?
okay with that.
Since we were taught that we are the enemy, because now we're wasting so much time on what you believe is the issue. When I got mothers calling me saying, what am I going to do? I'd rather for them to call me, and I will call you offline and say, this is what we need to do. Nobody is responsible for us but us, is all I'm saying. And so when I say that if it don't apply, let it fly, that means just don't give it so much airspace. Don't give it so much time. The bigger problem is, what are we going to do? What are we going to do, and how are we going to survive? What are we going to teach to our children to survive in this land? What are
raise
we
them
providing?
right.
How are we protecting them?
That's
all I'm saying.
I say we raise them right, and you do the best that you can do. But again, my issue is, of course, quite simply, I don't know no dudes just running around shooting. I don't hear nothing about nobody with a gun that ain't supposed to have a gun. I'm not in that world. I do what I do with the kids that I do it with, and of course, mainly my people. I got a little baby that I'm helping raise. I got a daughter, even though she's in her 20s, but in your 20s, you still need help.
Absolutely.
That I'm helping. That's what I and of course I do have outreach that I do to young people that I don't, publicize over the air. But
yes, sir.
I don't know nobody who's shooting. I don't know. And if I'm stuck on it and I shouldn't be, if I should be okay with the idea that everybody in our community see this stuff and is okay with it, then I'm just part of the problem.
I don't think, dear brother, I'm not saying that to you at all. And I do want to say, I watched the entire press conference, and I want to say, I commented in the comment section when the chief said, everybody ain't violent, because that's part of the work that we've been doing for 20 years, right? Because we are in such unprecedented times, and thanks to the state for relaxing the laws, and anybody and everybody can have guns. All this mayhem that's being dropped on us, on top of all the other stuff that we have going on. And when I say us, I mean people. But you know my focus. You know where my love lies. You know where my sacrifice is.
And that's where mine lie too. And I'm not comfortable with that message being put out there.
I agree with you, sir, and I think that you should address that, but I think you should give that brother the same respect due that you would want, and you should talk to him and give him a chance to adjust and come to you with what is where he is, what are they doing to assist, to protect the citizens, to protect the children, what it is, and as opposed to making that the focus point of your conversation. I don't think it's productive, and I don't think it helps us as a whole, as a collective. You can't for clicks. Okay. You can.
No, we just disagree about that, and that's okay.
You can do all that, but I think that you possess much more in your soul and in your mind that I think you're thinking of the bigger picture, the greater picture. and it's a wonderful thing that you say, because I know people who have guns and ammunition, who believe in the Second Amendment, who go to the gun range and who practice and who believe in protection. Hell, I just did a dance to Mississippi Goddamn by Nina Simone with a shotgun to depict what we've had to do in order to protect ourselves and our children. So there's nothing that we shouldn't know about what oppressors will do to us, including this type of conversation. And when you hear people who say things that you did not appreciate today about, or on the Lincoln Ware show, that community, we have to fix it. I appreciate your thought, dear brother, and I appreciate your work. I love you more than you'll ever know.
Oh, same
But
here.
when I said if it doesn't apply, let it fly, I'm just saying don't give it so much air. Don't give it all that energy.
Well,
I want to save
and again,
us.
I understand.
Save us.
But here's what I would say, Iris. What's today? Thursday? On Tuesday, almost the entire show was about how can we fix this problem as a community. Talking about just what I believe the issues are and, how we can approach them as a community, even for those of us who know and for those of us who don't. So
Okay.
I think there's
I
room
missed it.
to
I'm
have,
sorry.
I think there's room to have all of these conversations.
I do, but I think some of them are in-house and some of them are, for everybody. And if there's anything I can do or any suggestions that you think that my presence can help work on, I'm here and I'm down for it. I have no problem. I'm at Roadshow now, so if it's anything that we should do, anything that I can give some thought to, some love to, some space, some energy, I'm down for that when it comes to my people. I love you, dear brother, and I got to get back to work and making trophies.
All right, Iris.
Be well. Thank you.
You do the same, Iris. See, here's what I like about that. We still don't agree. But what I like about that is she actually did what I'm saying we should do. She heard me saying something and she's like, oh, you giving that too much air. And so she called in to say, ooh, you're giving that too much air. And she expressed her opinion. We still disagree to some extent. But those are conversations that I think it's okay for us to have. It's okay for us to have. Actually, I think, like I said, even when I was talking about Scotty in particular, I think Scotty's heart is in the right place. I think his heart is in the right place. I wholeheartedly, and I agree to a great extent about what he's saying. But this idea, because I saw some people, saying on here, it's about our kids. And you do this and you just want to argue and blah, blah, blah. And just nonsense. So our kids are dying. Well, a lot of kids is dying by gun violence. A lot of kids is dying. That's part of what I'm talking about. We keep putting this message out there like it's only our kids that are doing that. It's only us that are doing these things. And we internalize some of that stuff. Some of y'all honestly believe white people don't get shot. Only our kids get shot. You know why you believe that? It's what you see on the news, partly. It's the community you live in, so you don't see all the other people. But partly you keep hearing that same message over and over. I don't think we should do that. I don't think we should send that message. That it's only us. I think that's sick. I think that's sick. But I believe it's some stuff, because believe it or not, there are things that I don't necessarily put out there to the public. I believe in going and talking to people, addressing the issues that I have with people individually. I also believe if you've addressed it individually and it keep happening, Well, you do. Don't just ignore it if it don't apply. And I'm not crazy. Well, for the most part, I'm not crazy. Remember the other day I was talking about kind of the unintended consequences of certain messages? If you're running around talking about it's our children who are dying from gun violence, I understand what you mean. But what's the kind of the unintended consequence of that to people who gonna spin it? White people, white kids don't die from gun violence. They don't, really. We're violent. Nobody else. Look, I know you don't mean it that way. But when you say it, what message are you sending? Maybe Iris is right. Maybe I should call every individual who I believe sends a dual, sometimes unintended message and say, you do understand the message that you're sending when you say that. But just on the down, you understand that, don't you? But I want us to begin to think about that when we say stuff like, it's our children that's dying. Because you know that insinuates no other children are dying from gun violence. And that doesn't diminish the idea that when, I feel like I keep repeating myself from the other day. There are bad people in the world. Some of them bad people live in this country. And some of them bad people in this country live in our community. Some of them are black people. But I'm not buying the idea that they all black and they all live in the black community. And I'm not putting that message out. Caller.
Hey, what's going on, Emmanuel? This is Brian Taylor.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, man? Try to keep up with your show as often as possible, and now that you got it set up, I get the alerts. Make sure people actually, after you accept and say, you like the page, there's like 3 dots, and you can have it specifically send you alerts when there's any update. That way you get it, and it keeps the algorithm from kicking it down if it's on your page. I just had to say that because I know people miss this show and wonder why it doesn't show up in their feed, and you got to take extra steps to make sure it does. Anyway, one of the things I just wanted to talk about is this specific question you're dealing with right now with gun violence, crime, etc. Because I think that there's a problem. And the problem is there's a contradiction that we're not willing to accept or discuss in the manner I'm about to try. The problem is that there's a real problem that we as working people have to deal with of all different races about crime that may appear in our communities especially if we're working class and there's less possibilities. Crime happens in all these communities. Like you said, there's drug abusers across economic strata. But specifically in our areas, or I say my areas, I don't make a lot of money, it's like petty crime. And but the problem is, to me, is that while that's happening, there's a public, long-going, like century plus going on criminalization of black people particularly that is being organized, or that it's beyond being organized. Yes, certain right-wing candidates and push it. Some conservative, liberal, democratic candidates push this crime issue, and it's ludicrous to think that underneath it is not the assumption of all of the racial questions. it's absurd to act like if somebody says that there's no, that they're talking about we know what's going on or we know about crime, or they're not talking about in the rich areas, whether it's happening there or not. The whole campaign is part of criminalizing black people, which opens the door for the cops to come in and do more brutality to us in the name of fighting crime. And the final thing I wanted to say about this, you find yourself trying to fight against gun violence, and you enter one of these campaigns where the cops are involved, or where it's police friendly, let's say. Then you end up supporting more police presence. And the fact is, police create crime. And I know people don't want to hear that, or, they think I'm exaggerating when I say it, but they literally, that's part of what their job is to enforce stupid laws and ordinances that they can collect rents from for us, or city budgets. So, yeah, if a cop is in a neighborhood and somebody's walking down the street and they don't go to the corner when they cross, yeah, technically are they breaking a jaywalking thing and can they be fined for it? Yeah, but the cops are going to find somebody who they're looking to harass for that. They're creating a crime. And that's a silly example, but they do it all the time with smoking things, public, I'm not saying people should be peeing in the streets, okay? But public urination, when somebody clearly is not trying to, cause a problem, there's just no bathrooms anywhere. Kids who ride a skateboard where where a business owner thinks they shouldn't. Anyway, I don't want to just ramble about this, but it's that thing that you can say what you want about the conversations we need to have among ourselves, but you got to understand that there's a massive multi-century campaign that criminalizes us that this feeds into, and the line you have to walk on to do them both, to both talk internally about ourselves, about we got to protect ourselves, we got to have our own defense, and so on, and falling into one of these, play basketball with cops until one of them starts losing and they arrest you. There's a fine line between those two things. So anyway, I want to hear people's feedback and your feedback on that. Thanks for giving me the time.
All right, Brian. I appreciate the call. Of course, I get what he's saying. Look, you put a whole lot of police in an area. It's just super simple. You oversaturate an area with police, you can find a crime. If you put a police officer on every street corner in Indian Hill, or is it Indian Hills? I'm not sure. But out there, they can find a crime. Oh, you didn't use your turn signal when you turn. Here's a ticket. You know what I'm saying? They can find a crime. I think we understand that. And I think to his point, which is kind of the point that I'm trying to make, maybe not as eloquently, but that if we put out the notion that it's black people who are the criminals, and it's black people who tolerate crime, because we might even just like it, then that's more reason to send more police to our neighborhoods, to create more, you walking, you 100 feet from the corner and you're not supposed to run, here's a ticket. You're being loud, that's a disturbance. Oh, your music is too loud, here's a fine. That's kind of all I'm saying, is that we have to be careful. We should. We don't have to do anything. We should be careful when we talking about us. Of course, that was why I know Iris don't believe that the majority of the people in the black community are criminals and that the majority of our children are committing crimes. But if we hear that message being sent, nobody says anything about it. Nobody publicly says. Publicly. Not all of us. Then the message is just sent, and there's nothing sent out to say, whoa. They don't represent the rest of us. And again, I want to be clear. I believe, for the sake of this conversation, I believe Scotty's heart is in the right place. I do. And I don't think he intends to send that message. That's why I say it's the unintended message. But that's why, and again, the other day, you can go back and watch. I talked about what can we do in our community. Those of us who don't know. Those of us who don't hear. I don't run in a circle of people who know people who are, illegally running around with guns or planning to do illegal things with their guns. And my conversation was, what can we, those of us who don't know, because believe it or not, there is a large portion of our community of Black people who didn't raise these people. So when our children, for some of these ain't our children. These is those bad parents' children. Or those children that's going the wrong way. But we have to make ourselves known too. And then we can talk about what can we do. The rest of us, the other 95% of us. Because I'm saying probably 99 point something percent of us are doing zero crime. Zero. Then you got that point something percent that's actually committing crimes. And then you might even have a couple percent who know and don't say nothing. Add to that maybe a couple percent who did raise them kids. And, they're afraid of them. My son got a gun. I don't know what to do. So I'm adding that up to like 95%. Now, that's the 5%. Now the 95% of us is like, well, what can I do? I didn't raise them. I don't know them. I don't hang around them. None of that kind of stuff. We hear. What can we do? And see something. If you see something, say something. We don't see nothing. But I had that conversation just the other day. I don't have an answer. I didn't have an answer the other day either. I threw out some thoughts. And for me, I kept skipping over the community, those young people that are actually out there doing it. Because again, I don't know that I have a voice with them. I don't know that they coming together to listen to the King of Talk. Oh, hold on. What, little baby? Someone text me. Oh, that's your mama.
She did too. Text message.
Yeah, I saw. Okay, thank you. That's it? Yeah. All right. But that's it. That one, that's what I can do. That's what I can do. And y'all don't blow her head up. Don't blow her head up. She can't see it. But okay, so that's that. And I kept asking the question because we deal with situations differently. There's a reason. There's a reason why you're not going to hear the white Republican council members talking about the Sweeney dude and saying, look, y'all, if y'all see somebody doing drugs, if y'all see somebody buying drugs, if you hear about somebody doing drugs, speak up because it's ravaging the community. There's a reason why they're not going to publicly stand up and cry with the police and put that out there. Even though they know what's going on. They know it's going on. They know the drug problem and how it's affecting their community. It's a disease. It's a disease. They'll talk about treatment and all of that kind of stuff. But they won't be like, we have to do something about that in our community. Because they understand the message that would send. Even though we all know, you know what I'm saying? We all know it. But they're careful not to send that message. We're drug addicts. And we accept it. They're careful not to send that message. That's all I'm asking, is that we be careful not to send that message as well. That's it. That's it. Be like white people. No, I'm not. I'm not it. But they do some things that we can look at and kind of, pattern and copy. They do. What? There was a couple more topics that I wanted to discuss. There were a couple more topics that I wanted to discuss. Hold on, there was a shooting. There was a shooting. What's the shooting that I'm thinking about? What is the shooting that I'm thinking about that I wanted to discuss? And it's in the news. Like happened either yesterday or the day before. No, not Walt Sweeney. Not the Sweeney guy. No, not at the graduation. Oh, no, not downtown. What happened yesterday? No, not the landscaper, not the mother. I do want to talk about the landscaper issue, but there was one other one. Claremont County Sheriff's Office is investigating a shooting Wednesday afternoon that left a 36-year-old woman hospitalized. Happened around 1:50 p.m. at a residence. Oh, hold on, I got a call coming in. Hey, CK?
Hey, how you doing, Mr.
I'm doing good. Hold on just a second. Let me finish this story and then I get to you. All right?
No problem.
Happened around 1:50 at a residence in the 2000 block of Spring Street in Tate Township, according to the sheriff's office. Deputies found Jordan Musinski bleeding from a gunshot wound to her lower back after she went to a neighbor's home for help, the sheriff's office says. The University of Cincinnati Air Care transported Musinski to the UC Medical Center where she's expected to survive. Musinski told deputies a man with whom she shares the residence, 38-year-old Jesse Herndon, was responsible for the shooting. Authorities arrested Herndon without incident inside that residence. The sheriff's office says Herndon refused to provide a statement or cooperate with detectives. He faces one count of felony assault. One count of felony assault. Hold on, let me see if I can do this. That's his picture. That's his picture. But let's not talk about that. Because, when I say shooting, who comes to your mind? I said the shooting yesterday. What came to your mind? There's a reason why that is what came to your mind and not that. There's a reason. And it's in the news. It's in the news. But that wasn't the picture that you had. Why not? All right. CK.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Livingston?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Man, I was trying to guess what shooting you was talking about, man. You said it was in the news. I thought you was talking about the football player that just beat the murder charge down in Florida. But you're talking about a local case, right?
Yep.
That was a white man that shot her?
It was a white man. Shocking. White men shoot people? What?
In the back.
What?
Now, you know he going to the penitentiary for that now.
Maybe.
You can't be shooting your girl in the back thinking you ain't about to go to that sale.
Maybe he will. Maybe he won't.
What? How you gonna beat that?
He might find a way.
You're going to have to do about 7-8 years behind that, man. That's that domestic violence with the gunplay.
Yeah, you think so.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, man. You got to de-escalate the situation. That's why, that's why I say some people just don't need guns, Emmanuel. You know what I mean? Because you can't, you stuck in that interrogation room. What you going to talk to them? You going to get a lawyer? You going down. And your race ain't gonna help you. White boys go to prison too for shooting their lady.
White, they do.
That.
They do.
Yeah. So you got to de-escalate the situation. I mean, geez, I don't know. I don't know how to, what to say about that. But he's definitely going to the penitentiary for that. Because you got an eyewitness. She's going to testify. So you might don't want to take it to trial because then you're going to get the whole 15 to 17, man. So go on and cop out to about 8. Be out in about 6.
We'll see.
White boy style.
We'll see.
You know what I mean? You got to be very careful out here. And that's what I was saying with this violence. It is easy to avoid, but you just got to have that mindset, and if you are a gun owner, you got to be responsible. You don't bring it into your domestic disputes. If you and your wife having an argument, you don't go get the gun. You just, you know what I mean? That's the problem. They go get that gun so quick, boom, it's all over. And you're lucky you didn't kill her. Then you're looking at a life sentence. You know what I mean? I don't know how you handle that situation.
All right.
Yep, I'm thinking, but you say Scotty he told people to stop the violence?
Yes. Well, no, he's basically saying, and again, I agree with him to an extent, people who know stuff should tell. If you know what's going on, if you around that stuff and you see it, you should not just sit silently and watch this stuff happen. These are the people who can help solve this problem. That's what he's trying to say.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm with you on this one. That's easier said than done.
Is it?
Yeah, you can't put yourself all up in everything. You know what I mean? And because first off, you got to be in a situation to even, what if you never even been in it? It's easy for somebody that's never been in that type of situation. But witnesses fear for their life also. If they killed them, they could, don't think just because you told on somebody that they can't have somebody do something to you. Why
Well,
they
but
sitting in
but the
extra
idea,
seats?
CK, is that look, there's a lot of anonymous ways that you can tip people off about stuff, and then you won't necessarily be in harm's way.
Right. That's good. But you know, if I tell on you on something that you know I only know about, then you know who told.
You would imagine, yes.
Yeah, so it's easy. It's easy for people to say. I know Lincoln say that a lot. You know, these people need to talk, and I mean, you got to understand they in the trenches, and you know they see this type of stuff all the time, and especially when you have seen witnesses get murdered. You know, witnesses have been murdered that was going to testify and everything. So you know, intimidation of the witnesses, all that is in effect. Oh, you coming to court? Because, you know, just like the situation with that lady, he don't need her to testify. So he could get somebody to intimidate her with the case she was talking about, the local case. That's the thing. That's the main reason people don't testify, because they intimidated about what the criminal is capable of. You know?
Okay.
So, yeah, man, but I'm kind of, I'm on the fence with that. That's just easier said than done, especially when you're in law enforcement, because you know you need the witnesses, but you got to understand the witnesses are fearful of more violence also. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to holler at you, man. Congratulate you on the good show, man. Just keep doing good, man. You educating the public like you should.
I don't know about educating, but I'm sharing my thoughts.
Hell yeah, man. You good at it though. You good at it. You know, God bless you with the talent, with this podcast network, and you see the numbers going out of control. You know, you making your city proud of you, your family proud of you.
If I can get my Twitch numbers up to 2, I'll be happy.
2? How many you at now?
1.
Good God Almighty, Jesus. That's amazing. Well, man, you gonna do it. You got faith in God. You know, God gonna get you over the threshold. You know, but you doing good out here. You know, I mean, look at all the people that's listening right now. They proud of you. They love you. You know what I mean?
All right. Hey, CK, I appreciate you. I appreciate you calling. I appreciate your support.
I appreciate you.
All right,
yes,
have a good. All right, that was CK. Yeah, if I can get these Twitch numbers up to 2, then I'll be somebody. I'll be somebody. But until then, I'm just your regular humble king of talk, you know. I saw Wyatt. Wyatt said basically when he think of crime, depending on the area, that makes him picture a face. Man, I just said a shooting. The area being the Cincinnati area. And a lot of people will picture a black person. Because we kind of conditioned to believe that it's our children who are dying. It's our children who are getting shot. It's our people who are doing the shooting. We're conditioned to believe that. Walter says, I wish the police had the same mentality about snitching. Now look, here's what I learned a while ago. You can't try to hold the police to the same standard that they want to hold other people to. People will attack you for that. People will attack you for that. If somebody says, if you see something, say something, and then you say, well, why don't you have that same message for the police? You are part of the problem. You become a part of the problem. Somehow, in people's minds, asking police to do the right thing is a way to not talk about the issue. It's not necessarily about asking police to do the right thing. Plus, who are we to ask police to do the right thing? Police gonna do what they gonna do. So I just want you to know, Walter, I tried that before. Even just as a footnote, you will get attacked for that. And it's a bad, bad thing. Because the police don't have to kind of follow the rules. And to expect that, Wyatt says, show it. The white boy pic you put up was a Claremont County case. That's still the Cincinnati area. That's why I didn't say in Cincinnati. And did I read it okay this time, Wyatt? Wyatt always say I don't read his messages with the same intent, or with the like I give him a bad voice, like he, I'm trying to be mindful of that and read them, and I can touch the screen, and by the power of the King of Talk, I can feel the energy, and so I'm trying to be very mindful to give it the right energy. But let's not pretend like there aren't preconceived notions. When people talk about gun violence, let's talk about at the national level. And they talk about the rise in gun violence and all of that kind of stuff. What do they talk about? At the national level. They talk about Chicago. You know what I'm saying? They conjure up an image. And you know the image that they're trying to conjure up. They don't talk about white males and now white females going into schools shooting up little kids. When they talk about violence, gun violence, that's not what the images that they try to conjure up. There's a reason for that. And to pretend like we don't recognize that. Ben says statistics matter and make the stereotype a reality. They don't. It's just not true. The statistics don't make the stereotype a reality. The statistics actually should show an accurate picture. They're not paying attention to statistics. They're conjuring up images for you. It's like they did with welfare. Welfare queens. They conjured up an image of a welfare queen, of a black woman with all these kids who didn't want to go to work. And when people started, this is 80s I'm talking about, but it's the same thing now, just a different topic. And for us to pretend like this stuff ain't real, when the statistics would show you that there are a whole lot more white people on welfare than black people. The statistics didn't make the stereotype a reality. Those images conjured up for some people made the stereotype a reality. Let me see. He says, so you believe more white people are killed by guns in America? Well, I don't actually know who's killed more, but I know black people ain't the only people killing people with guns in America. See, the statistics show the real picture. If you can get that number, which of course, A lot of that stuff doesn't have to be reported in the way that you think it is. So you go to the FBI statistics and you're not necessarily going to see all of the numbers. You don't have to believe that. I'm telling you, I don't remember the guy's name or his position. He did a talk. I was shocked by some of the things that he said when he talked about, he was either worked in the federal government or like for the statistics and all of that kind of stuff. And he was saying, basically don't believe statistics. He said it, not me. We need to stop focusing on perception and focus on our reality. How about we focus on reality? Because our reality is also a perception. So how about we focus on reality? I promise y'all, I don't know. At this point in the show, I don't think I'm saying anything that's controversial or anything like that. I'll try to simplify it. Black people ain't the only people shooting and killing people. What's controversial about that? Well, let's not focus on the white people. Let's just ignore that. Let's just ignore it, like ignore reality, because we want to focus on the negativity in our community. I don't understand what in the world am I saying right now that's controversial? Numbers are numbers. Y'all want to focus on numbers when it worked for y'all argument. But when it don't, then let's just focus on our reality. No, let's just talk about, because we having a conversation. If you don't know this, it's like I'm on here for like 10 more minutes. We not gonna solve shootings in 10 minutes. I'm sorry. I know some of y'all was like, oh, we gonna do it. We gonna do it. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So when we're having a conversation about what's real and what's not, the idea that we should ignore the real that don't fit the narrative that we want to spin, that black people are bad. Some black people are. A lot of them ain't. Some white people are too. But why talk about the white people? Because it's real. Caller?
Yes.
Yes.
Is this the E-Man show?
This is the afternoon experiment with Emanuel Livingston.
Yes, I want to chime in on your conversation here.
All right.
You're hitting on a great point, but I want to put it in my terms.
Okay.
The gatekeepers have no choice but to talk about black on black crime. They're not allowed to talk about white people. That's just the way I feel, because if you think about the statistics, especially in Cincinnati, crime is down. They're not allowed to say fentanyl overdose are higher than gunshots, higher than black gunshots. They're not allowed to say that because some of them don't get checks. Some of them don't get positions. And some of them don't lord over their people if they talk about white people. They need permission to talk about white people. I just don't understand today's leaders where they have to suppress information and really think that young black people is American problem. And young black people are not American problem. What the American problem is fentanyl overdose all over the country. So I don't understand why they do it, but I guess they have to because they are low budget movie stars acting like it's their world. It's not. So they have to talk about minute things that think is reality, and it's not. So, I'm glad you're doing it, and maybe we'll wake up and realize that we no longer need them. I noticed Cecil Thomas, how he get on Lincoln's show and how he breaks down black on black crime, but he won't get on there and break down white on white crime. And I know this may be out of the out of the rim, but Scotty's messy. I remember when he got the one black chief fired, and when they had to come together and pray and said that chief was suppressing them. So he's messy. He always in the middle of things. He's a great actor. Have a nice one.
All right, that's Blade. Look, here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. Actually, Wyatt, may I use your last comment to illustrate my point? I actually think it illustrates my point perfectly. Wyatt says, he sound crazy AF. Black folk are dying to that drug as well. Now, hold on. On one hand, we want to ignore that white crime and white shootings even exist. Let's not focus on the perspective. Let's just focus on our reality. But then when you talk about drugs, which, the image now of the opioid addict, for the most part, is a white person. That's the image, whether or not it's the reality or not. It's the image. Okay, well then, let's not focus on that, because we got to look at the reality of that. We dying too. I'm not saying that you said, I don't want to say your voice wrong. I know what you're saying, but I'm saying, I think that illustrates the point. And I say, how about we just focus on the facts and stop? I agree with you. I agree with you. Black folks are dying of drug overdoses as well. So let's not pretend that they're not, even though the perception is that it's a white thing. I'm 100% with you on that. So then let's do the same with gun violence. White people commit gun violence as well. So let's not pretend that they don't, so that we can seem like we hyper-focused on the solution that we don't have. And ignore unintended consequences. This ain't controversial. This ain't controversial. Looking at facts. Acknowledging the truth. It's not controversial. I'm not being controversial today. I'm not. A lot of people just don't. I don't know why. Okay, I might know why. All right, let me get to, because it's a heart thing. I understand the idea that, look, I'm a black person. So I don't care what white people are doing to white people. I'm a black person and I live amongst black people. And so I want to focus on what ails black people so we can fix it. And I don't care what ails, not even necessarily I don't care, but I don't want to focus on what ails anyone else. So let's not worry about what the perception of the thing is. Let's just fix the thing. But I don't know that you're going to be able to fix the thing. Ignoring the perception. I don't believe you're ever going to fix the thing. You might be able to slow it down or whatever. And look, if you are in a position where you see some of this stuff going on, you know stuff is happening, you probably need to step up and help. Tell. If you know who shot somebody, tell. If you know who terrorizing a neighborhood, tell. But I don't know. Maybe it is just me. Maybe it's just me. And I'm completely off base. So I'll ignore that white crime exists. Won't talk about it, won't think about it, won't acknowledge it. how that helps us, how the stereotype, the perception that crime is a black thing, so send more police to the black community to police black people and create, as Brian said, more criminals. I had like two other stories I wanted to talk about. But somehow my little simple thing became controversial. And it's not. Acknowledging facts is not controversial. I'm going to say it again and then I'm going to go. Because I want to drill it into y'all heads. There are bad people in the world. All over, spread all over the world. Some of them live here in the United States of America. Some of them are black. And some of them live in our predominantly black communities. But some of them don't. If you can help fix what's happening in the black communities, please do. Please do. But don't buy that it's just that all the black people or all the bad people are black. All the shootings are black people doing it. Black people are accepting of it. Black people scared. Just like white people would be if this was happening in their community. They scared. They don't know. How many white people, their kids overdose on drugs and they had no idea their kids was doing drugs? Their kids get in trouble and they had no idea their kids was running with the wrong crowd. Their kids give birth to babies and bury them in the backyard and they had no idea they was pregnant. If you see something, say something. A whole lot of them don't see it. And they're afraid of this opioid epidemic. They're afraid that it's going to touch their house. They don't know where they're coming from. They don't know how they're getting them. They don't know that they're using them. Believe it or not, a lot of people in the black community, same way. The point that, of course, I'm trying to make is, just like you can't just tell them magically if you see something, say something, and then the opioid epidemic is going to disappear in the white community. It's saying if you see something, say something, don't mean that gun violence is going to disappear in the black community. Some people don't know. All communities have issues, not just ours. All communities have issues, not just ours. We should work to fix ours. But we shouldn't believe that we're the only ones with it, and we shouldn't ignore when people try to paint us that way. We can do both things. We can work on fixing the problems in our community and acknowledge problems in other communities. But they say, again, what I heard was SWAT at the banks because people got to feel safe. I believe it or not, I understand that. Increased police presence on certain streets. I'm certain that spills out into certain communities where, shootings have happened. Increased traffic blitzes because they say they found a lot of guns in those traffic blitzes. I'm going to have to put in a public records request. I'm going to do it because I want to see who getting tickets for speeding during these speeding blitzes. Because I'm sorry, y'all can't convince me that only black people speed. Now, I don't know. It might be 50-50 for all I know. But I need to get the numbers and look at them. I want to see. But I would imagine if the blitzes are happening in black communities, you're probably going to see more black numbers. So maybe do blitzes in all communities. Unless maybe y'all telling me only black people speed. And people only speed in black communities. So that's why the police need to be there. I could see people making that argument. You know, black people speed more than anybody. Statistics show it, who getting all the tickets. I could see somebody actually making that argument. Iris says the second speed blitz, more white people were given tickets and warnings. I can get the data for you. Thank you. I would love that. I would love that. See why I say, see why I say, I don't know. For all I know, it was 50-50. So somebody like, ooh, she got you. No, I said I don't know. I said I don't know. And so I'm going to have to get the numbers. I don't see no controversy about saying everybody got issues. Everybody deal with crime. It don't feel controversial. All right, y'all. I gotta get out of here. Got some stuff to do. Got that little baby up there. Gotta go deal with her. I appreciate everybody checking me out. I appreciate y'all support. Hold on, let me see something. Iris says, I think what you're leaving out of your statement is people are requesting more police presence. See, I'm trying to go. Okay, that's cool. But police presence don't necessarily come because you request it. I mean, my evidence is anecdotal, but that's the same thing they said about the 90 crime bill, the Bill Clinton, the crime bill in the 90s. Those people requested more. And maybe so should be the response. Like, I'm requesting more police presence in my community. And you should be like, you know, look, I'm not against police presence. I'm not against police presence, you know, where a high crime area is. I'm not against that. But if you look back 10 years, you know, if in 10 years you look back and you're like, wow, we requested that police presence, but that was so detrimental to our community. Because just because the police presence come don't mean they gonna act right. And not acting right don't necessarily mean they gonna shoot and kill somebody. Not to me. They gonna be super rude, maybe. Like, they didn't kill nobody, but man, they, you know what I'm saying, you only want to walk down your street, not because of the drugs and everything, but because the police is there and they always so rude. That's a real thing. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball to look into, to go into the future and see what the effects of them asking for a larger presence. But I do know that's the excuse when you bring up that crime bill that sent all of those people to jail. And crack cocaine got higher sentences than powder cocaine and all that kind of stuff. What do they say? They asked for this. They're the ones who asked for this. And now we looking back like that was horrible. But like I said, it's such a in-depth issue that I'm not gonna be. Iris says, educate your people then. That's what I'm trying to do now. But when I begin to try to say, hey, y'all, we need to be thinking about this stuff, then I'm, doing bad stuff to the community. And all I'm trying to do, which is really all I can do with this medium, is get people to think about this stuff from many different directions, from many different perspectives. I try to be careful not to say I'm right, even though I think I'm right. I wouldn't say it if I didn't think I was right. So I try to be careful to not say I'm right. I try to say from my perspective. And then I want you to think about it from your perspective. And then I want you to try to think about it from his perspective and from her perspective. That's it. That's it. All right, y'all. I got to get out of here. Iris says that I'm bloviating and mixing up issues, and it makes it confusing as to how we should handle these issues. A lot of these issues are all kind of entangled. All of these issues are woven together. They are. And that's how we got to start thinking about them. What's the thing with the balls? I can't remember what it's called. Newton's, whatever. Oh, we're going to put more police over here. Oh, that's crime is going to move from there and then it's going to move to there. Well, more crime over here is going to create this situation. Well, all of this stuff ties together. And so to try to think of each individual thing in its own silo, well, here's a good idea. And then not think, which is kind of the whole general thing that I'm talking about. What about the unintended consequences of whatever that idea is? That's what we should always look at. When you say, and I'm not saying that it's a good or a bad thing, I'm just using it as an example. If you say, where we might have a SWAT presence down on the banks, like, okay, that might not be a bad idea. And somebody in the room should say, what could be the unintended consequences of that? Maybe nobody can come up with anything. It's always a good question to ask. That was the whole point of what I was saying. Put more police over there. What could be the unintended consequences? Put fewer police over there. What could be the unintended consequences? Let's forget about perception and only think about our reality. What could be the unintended consequences? Because there are going to be consequences, and they're not all going to be exactly what you think they are. And we have to think about that stuff. Angela says, it's not as complex as you try to make it. Paul says, I love listening to Emanuel Livingston and Iris Rowley. Hold on, let me say this. I want to be clear. And then I really am going to go. I got love for Iris Rowley. I do. And believe it or not, me and Iris Rowley have beefed in the past. Slight beef, but we've beefed in the past. But almost anybody who want to see good for my people, whether I agree with you or whether I disagree with you, the way you go about it or the way that you pronounce it or whatever, I got love for you. And then you add on top of that somebody who's willing to have the conversation. Because believe it or not, I listen. I listen. I listen and I take the things that people say and I allow that to help shape my view. So that's why I keep trying to tell y'all, if y'all call in here, and even if we get to hollering and screaming at each other, which I would never do, I'm still listening while we hollering and screaming. You might throw a nugget in there and I'd be like, oh, I like that. Hadn't thought about that. And then that begins to factor into the way that so Iris, I got love for Iris. I got love for Scotty. Although I'm being a little critical. That's why I keep saying, I think his heart is in the right place, because I do. So don't take any of these conversations that you hear on here ever as, me being negative towards anybody or anything like that. Last year, the youth was fighting on the banks. Ozzie Davis, Kathy Curidan, and others made it to the banks to keep police away, and we did. And now Iris thinks she won. And now I'm just asking, and then I am going, did they say at that press conference that there is or that there may be a SWAT presence at the banks? Or am I confused about that? I'm asking Iris. Did they say that, or am I confused about that? Because clearly I was not at the press conference. I just know what was reported. Iris says, I didn't hear that, but I will find out. I'll send you the whole presentation. All right, you got my email, right? I know you do. Iris says she's calling the police chief now to ask that just for me. So I might stay here for just a few more moments. Look, y'all can head on over. I believe Wyatt is probably on now, giving me what for. And I can't even call him today to get at him. Angela says, I thought they mentioned SWAT was fired upon. But I wasn't there. I watched a news report, and when they were talking about some of the things that they were going to do, they mentioned more police presence, police overtime, and they were specific about the more police presence, not necessarily like canvassing whole neighborhoods, but being near areas where shootings have happened. And I on this news report, I'm fairly certain I heard them mention a SWAT presence at the banks. I thought I heard them mention that. And she says, give her 6 minutes. So I can stay for 6 minutes. Again, you're probably not interested in this. Go check out Wyatt. His show is probably in full swing. And you know how he do it. He had the hip hop playing. He had on his thing and, his sweater or hoodie or whatever. Probably got a drink that he's sipping off of. He got that towel in his hand because he's ready to go. So you could go check him out now. Did I talk about the Michael Sweeney now drug shooting instead of road rage. It was mentioned. I talked about it a little bit. I did talk about it a little bit. And I did ask, are we going to see a press conference or anything like that where a white member of city council steps up and says to the community, look, there's an epidemic of people who are buying drugs, wealthy people coming from outside of the city of Cincinnati, buying drugs in the city of Cincinnati. And if you see it or if you hear it, tell police. I don't think we're going to see that press conference, though. I'm waiting. Iris Rowley says, give her about 6 minutes. She's just letting me know whether or not there are going to be, did they announce potentially a SWAT presence at the banks? Because I thought I heard that. I owe us anyway, E. You should be on until 10 p.m. I think he meant you owe us. Angela says she has shifted to tuning in 20 minutes later. I'm not sure what you're talking about because I can't see. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not sure what y'all talking about. So I don't know if you're saying you tune into my show 20 minutes late. Don't forget about the gun club. I will not forget about the gun club. All right. She says, just spoke to the chief. She says she's using officers who are in the SWAT unit, but will not be in SWAT gear. No SWAT truck, just members of the SWAT team will be there like they did last year. Okay, so I did hear that. All right. Okay. I thought I heard it. I was like, okay. But all right. And I'm not for it or against it. I just thought I heard it. And I wanted to make sure that I heard what I thought I heard. All right, y'all. Thank you, Iris Rowley. I appreciate that. I got to get out of here. I appreciate y'all checking in, hanging with me, supporting me from the bottom of my heart. I really do. I appreciate the conversation. And even, because y'all know me, even more than I appreciate the pushback. And that's why I keep telling all of y'all who be disagreeing with me on the stuff that I say, call in, push back. Give me something to think about. Give us something to think about and talk about. I'm not going to beat y'all up. I want to learn. I'm going to push back while you pushing back. But call me. Call me. I like to learn. All right, y'all. I got to get out of here for real. It's been the afternoon experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. My title is the King of Talk. Hold on. Before I go, I do have to say this. I meant to say this earlier because this was one of the things that I was going to talk about. Lincoln said something today, and I had to call him off air, and we kind of laughed about it, but it kind of went in line with a little bit of what I was talking about when he was talking to the officer, the Crime Stopper lady, when he was talking to her, and they were talking about the guy in the hoodie who's a person of interest, in the shooting of the landscaping guy. And again, I still got some issues with that story, but they might know something that I don't know. And they were talking about him, and Lincoln pointed out it was summer. I was about to do the Lincoln voice. Lincoln pointed out it was summer. Angela said, no, it's Crime Stopper lady. Angela, she's Crime Stopper lady. But Lincoln pointed out it's summer. He got on a hoodie. And basically that alone, a black man in a hoodie in the summer, that alone makes him suspicious. And I got problems with that. I told him I had problems with it. I called him on the break right after he said it. And I said, damn, George Zimmerman, you don't know. That's a horrible thing to say. We can't revert back to, oh, a black man in a hoodie. That's suspicious. And especially since we know a lot of these young people, young men, young women, white, black, and otherwise, for whatever reason, wear hoodies during the summer. It's a thing that they do. So we can't convert some, what I feel like, nonsensical fashion trend into suspicious behavior. So don't buy into just because you see somebody, a black man in a hoodie, he's suspicious. Let's not revert to that. Okay? Now, this guy's a person of interest, and, you know, hopefully he's not a person of interest because they caught him on camera with a hoodie. Hopefully there's a reason why he's a person of interest. But I don't want us to revert back to, ooh, black man, hoodie, suspicious. Let's not do that. Okay? Let's not do that. All right. Until next time, it's been the Afternoon Experiment. I hope something amazing happens in your life by the end of the day. Okay? I'm out, y'all. Peace.